There comes a moment in your relationship, you know that moment, where you can't find yourself in it. You did not leave, but you're not there anymore. Your opinions have gone, your friend circle is non existent, and you're always reading their mood before you can even find your own. Your entire world revolves around them. You did not leave, but you faded away in that relationship, slowly, daily. It was not one big blow, it was a small disappearance, moment by moment. And today, we will dive deeper into a question: why we lose ourselves in love, and what can we do to come back. Welcome to the Detachment Circle, where we dive deeper into mindfulness, detachment, and spiritual wisdom to help you live with clarity and peace. My name is Siddharth, your guide in this journey to self realization. We all have been there, loving so much that we are ready to devote ourselves, ready to lose ourselves, give it all. For what? To get love in return, to feel chosen, to make them stay. Or our love becomes so self sacrificing that we don't even realize that we are not there anymore. And it happens to all of us. There comes that time in our life when that love becomes so powerful that we are ready to give up everything: our own ideas, our beliefs, our opinions, our social circle, our needs, our wants, and even our own identities. And we become somebody else in that relationship: a caretaker, a therapist, a mother, instead of being a partner. We have been assigned so many roles, and maybe this is what we were taught, that love is all about giving, love is all about sacrificing yourself. But there comes a time when we question ourselves, that who am I? What have I become? Because even when you dissolve yourself, even when you devote yourself in that relationship, it is never satisfying. You're never content. Why? Because self disappearance cannot be love, it is something else. It becomes a transaction, and after a while, you're taken for granted and you've been assigned some roles. Self disappearance is never spiritual, and it is definitely not love. I asked this question in my channel, The Detachment Circle on Instagram, and I get all sort of responses. Marta said, I became a mother and therapist to them. Moni says, I ask myself, who am I? My style, my taste, my opinions, my decisions, and the friends who were no longer mine. Live life intentionally said, I lost my identity. Gratitude said, by being available always for them. And Sneha said, not choosing myself, doing things I did not want to. You see the wound where this self-sacrificing habits takes us into nothing. We become a satellite who is orbiting around a planet. We don't have any light of our own left. We are only reflecting what they give us. That cannot be love. Although people have romanticized this sacrifice, this disappearance. In movies, the poets have done it, the pop culture has done it. Everywhere you see, sacrifice is always applauded. You may get a lot of accolades from the people. You may get compliments. Oh, you are so sacrificing. You always put others first. You are the one who is always managing things. But inside, you know it, what you go through. And after some time, with this disappearance, you don't even recognize yourself anymore in front of the mirror. Who have I become? This wasn't me. Before this relationship, I had an identity. I was someone. And then everything faded away. The friends parted ways. You couldn't find any time because you were so busy in managing everyone's emotions. You had to take multiple roles, become an overgiver, become a caretaker, become a healer, become a fixer, the responsible one, the wise one, and whatnot. And none of those labels could ever satisfy this need of having our own identity. It simply cannot. And no amount of love can fulfill you, complete you. We have been taught that when you sacrifice yourself, you get the same thing in return. And in that hope, you kept on doing it over and over again, every day, without questioning. The days turn into weeks, the weeks turn into months, into years. And now you are here, who don't even know what I like, what I feel. What is it like to have my own identity, my own preferences, my own opinions, my own beliefs? Everything is dependent on the other people. And why does it only happens in love? You may feel that love is where you are disappearing, but it is the same act of disappearance that happens with family, with your friends, even at work. A lot of times you just devote yourself into work. Work becomes such a big part of you. But that part is not that triggering. It is not that impactful. When it comes to love, love is the most powerful feeling. And when you disappear in it, you disappear completely without even questioning. And the same act of disappearance started way before this relationship. Somewhere very early in your life, you learned this is how I survive. This is what love is all about. This is the definition which is imprinted on your nervous system. This is the definition of love which is imprinted on your identity. And now, even if you don't want to do it, you can't help it. You have become aware, you have known about your attachment styles, you have known about your own traits, your own patterns. But pattern recognition is not the same as pattern breaking. Now you watch yourself perform. You watch yourself lose yourself while being aware of it. And that's even more devastating. Now, when you searched about why I am disappearing in this relationship, you have gotten all your answers. I know you are very self aware and you have done your research. You can explain this disappearance in detail better than most therapists. You know that it is self abandonment. Oh, I have anxious attachment style where I am just feeling anxious when the connection becomes insecure or things become uncertain, or you have separation anxiety, or you are codependent on the other person. You know it all, but knowing has not freed you. You are still looping, still repeating, still disappearing. The same thing was told by my audience as well. Evie says, no self identity, codependence, and controlling. Children says, too anxious about how they feel about me. Sandhya says, abandoning myself, my needs, to keep them with me. How beautifully you have described it. Prabodh Patil says, I abandon my own needs for other people. And Karam Dosa says, prioritizing their emotion over mine, their needs over mine. They have explained this disappearance beautifully with the exact therapeutic names. Science has given you the exact label for this pattern. And they know it all that I am abandoning myself, my needs. I am prioritizing them over me. But knowing is not enough. Knowledge, when just consumed, is not enough. It needs to be embodied, it needs to be implemented. And you have been searching for these answers everywhere in the books. And it's not that books do not have the truth, but it is their truth. It is not your truth. Spiritually, also, a lot of people dive deeper into scriptures, into ancient books, trying to find some answers. And I'm not saying that scriptures are bad or scriptures will not free you. But remember, whatever is written in the scripture is not your truth. It is a truth. It is the truth which was written there. But it is a lie for you because it is not your truth yet. It has not been implemented yet. You have not experienced it yet. And a lot of times we think that just by consuming knowledge, just by being aware of it, it should be enough. Now I know it should free me. And I see day in, day out. Every day in my inbox, there is one message. I know my loop. I know my pattern. I cannot free myself because knowing is not enough. Knowing and breaking are two separate things. There is a gap in between. And that gap is embodiment. Until that truth becomes your truth, until you have felt it, it is not enough. And how you will feel it? You need a little guidance. Think of it in this way: you are sitting in a dark room. You need light. But a photo of a light or photo of a lamp will not illuminate the room. There will still be darkness. And that's what it is all about. When we look for answers in books, in idols, that is only the picture of the divine. It is not divine. And it is not going to illuminate the room. What is needed? A small lamp. A small lamp is enough. Or you go to somebody who can put that illumination within you, your guru or your teacher or anybody, your coach. Go in their presence, sit with them, talk about things, and some light will also ignite something within you. And from there, the embodiment is possible. And from there, whatever truth you have read, it becomes your truth. You start implementing things, you start embodying things. It needs an external source sometimes. So, awareness is never enough. Awareness will not illuminate the room, embodiment will. If you can't do it on your own, seek help. So you can understand your pattern exactly. You can have the exact name for it, exact description for it, but still you are going to repeat it in the next relationship. You are still going to disappear in the next relationship or in the same one. Said by one of my follower, overgiving and expecting, even though I know I don't have to. Artusha says, even after being single for 6 years, I realized that I have not healed. Think about it. If knowing was enough, why are you not free yet? Who knows more than you? If I give you the mic right now, you have enough knowledge to talk about it for hours. Why it has not freed you yet? Because inside, when you get the awareness, your mind is trying to study itself. It is trying to understand itself. And think of it, it is the same self, same identity trying to understand itself, which is good. It will be able to do it. But to be able to separate yourself from this identity, from this person you have become, you need to go somewhere else. And that's where the therapeutic knowledge will never be able to reach. The healing will never be able to reach that layer where this identity lives. It is beyond your mind and body. But yes, awareness, this therapeutic story will give you everything. It will give you the knowledge about it. It will keep you at the center. You will be able to understand it, protect it, rebuild it, give boundaries, but it will not be able to dissolve itself. I mean, think of it. How can it dissolve itself? How can it let go of itself? It cannot. It is an existential problem. The same self who is disappearing, trying to heal itself, trying to break itself, which is not possible. And that's why there is a threat. If I leave this relationship, who will I be? Who am I without them? What if I don't find anybody? My whole life revolve around them. If they go away, I can't live. Those kind of questions come into our mind because this is not a relationship problem. This is an existential problem. And in order to solve an existential problem, we need to go deeper into your existence itself. And that's where Vedanta comes in. That's where spirituality comes in. Let's try to understand it. And Vedanta starts with one important question: who is asking? In this case, you say that I disappeared in a relationship. I lost myself in this relationship. Then who is this I we are talking about? I as your existence? Or I as this self image, this identity which you have become? Because if you see your own existence, your own Atman, it never disappeared. It cannot disappear. It can never be destroyed. It is always untouched. So there is a part of you who is listening to me right now. It is untouched. It is always complete. It is always whole. But then who disappeared? The self image, the person you had to become in this relationship, this identity you have who thinks that disappearance is love, sacrifice is love. In order to keep people in your life, you have to do this. And then you also attract those kind of people who want only this version of you. You cannot leave your essence. You lost yourself, your identity, in this role you were performing. A role of a lover, role of a wife, role of a husband. You performed it so deeply that you even forgot that it is only a role. It is not you. It is not the whole you. That role kind of overpowered everything and became your identity. And like I said, this disappearance did not start yesterday. It is old. You have been disappearing like this all your life. Maybe not exactly the same. Maybe instead of devoting yourself towards another person, you were devoting yourself to win your parents' approval. You were keeping your opinions quiet in order to fit in a social circle. Maybe you tried to keep your mouth shut in order to keep some people in your life. That was also disappearance. When the same child who was disappearing in their childhood, when they grow up, when they go into a relationship, what do they become? This. They lose themselves in love. And like I said, it has lot to do with your conditioning. We have been taught, we have been raised in a way where disappearing is rewarded, it is applauded. It is not always returned or reciprocated. You don't always get what you want by disappearing, but you don't know any other way. And I will include myself in it. There was a time I was so influenced by the poet Rumi that I started disappearing myself in a relationship. Every morning, every night was about them. My own preference, my own needs, everything got deprioritized. It made me insecure. It made me obsessive. And why? Because I was reading Rumi wrong. Later on, I realized it is not about you and the lover, it is about you and the divine. I realized that I have become somebody else in that relationship, and I did not like myself. And Rumi's love was always about the divine, the infinite, and I was assuming it is about another person. You lose yourself in another person. And again, it is rewarded. Even you search now, people have been misquoting Rumi everywhere. And I got influenced. Rumi was talking about the infinite longing to meet the Creator. And here I was assuming that infinite longing to a finite human being, a finite person. It wasn't love, it became an obsession. The urge to meet, the need to control, the obsessive thoughts will not stop. I lost myself. And I called it love because I had poetry to make it a little beautiful. But it was the same disappearing. And until I realized that that's not me. So, most of us fall into this trap because of the conditioning, because of how our identity was shaped. We lose ourselves. But again, remember who get lost? The identity. Who is performing a role? The identity. The role gets overpowered and becomes you. And in our life, we have to play so many roles. We have to play a role of a brother or a sister or a friend or a daughter or a mother or a father, a co worker, a friend, a boss, a manager, an employee. But those are only roles we have to play. And you have been playing it flawlessly. You have been performing everywhere. And how quickly you switch into something. The moment the elevator opens, you enter your office, you are somebody else. The moment you enter your home, oh, you are somebody else. The moment you meet your friends, you are somebody else. You play that role. When you are playing all of those roles, you need to remember that you are not only limited to that role, you are much more than that. But in the relationship, what happens? This role becomes so overpowered that you forget all the other roles. This role becomes your priority. This role becomes you after some time. And that's when you realize that you have lost everything, including your own self. But there is something in you which remains unchanged. It wasn't touched by anything. It did not disappear. It remained whole. Even when you were performing the role, even when you were losing yourself in that relationship, something in you is still whole and it is listening to me right now. And it is unaffected, it is unchanged. Everything has changed. Your life, the people, you, your body, but it is unchanged. And that unchanging presence was with you when you were going through heartbreaks, all your success, your tears, nothing has ever touched it. It cannot be destroyed. It is always whole. It is always Sat Chit Anand. Existence, consciousness, and bliss. That remained unchanged in you. When you were losing yourself, you did not lose this. And in order to let go of this identity, you need to understand who this self is, who is Atman. Without that, you are only trying to heal the same identity. The same identity trying to understand itself. It will be able to do it, but it will not be able to break itself. That is a threat it cannot overcome. That part of you is untouched. When you were moving from one relationship to another relationship, when you were losing yourself, it was still whole and it is still whole right now. In my community, in my wisdom circle, we use this method. We call it the witness method. We try to understand this witness in us and how we can use this witness to break our patterns. This witness in you, the witness consciousness or Sakshi Bhav in you is never changed. And I would like to share a story with you, and I've recently shared the same story in one of my lessons in Wisdom Circle. It is from Mundaka Upanishad. And it talks about two birds sitting on a branch of a tree. One bird is eating the fruit. The fruit is sweet, the bird gets happy. If the fruit is bitter, the bird is sad. So, this bird is always eating the tree. It is performing, it is doing everything, it is living its life, it is eating the fruits of its labor. And the other bird is not doing anything. It simply watches the first bird. It is only witnessing the first bird as it is eating the fruit. So same thing is in with you as well. So there is a part of you who is performing, of course. Right now, there is a part of me who is speaking right now. There is a part of you, you're sitting there, you are with me, you're listening to me. Of course, you're there, you're sitting. That is same. But then there is another word. There is another part of you which is watching itself listening to me right now. If I talk about there is a part of me, there is this bird who is speaking right now, and then the witness is watching me speaking right now. The witness in you is watching you listening to me right now. Can you have this realization while you are listening to me? Whenever you are performing, whenever you are acting, whatever you are doing, there is a part of you which is watching you doing the task. It is watching you act. And it always watches, it never interferes. That part of you exists. That bird in you exists. And that bird is unaffected by the taste of the fruit. The bird who is eating the fruit, it is affected. When the fruit is sweet, it is happy. When the fruit is bad, it is sad. But the other bird is unaffected. It simply watches the first bird enjoying the taste of the fruit or getting destroyed by it. Same thing is with you. There is a part of you who is losing itself in love, in relationship, but then there is another part of you which is watching you losing itself. So the entire path is all about the first bird who is eating the fruit, recognizing that there is another bird. There is a witness part in me who is unaffected. And it is a path of remembrance. That's why we call it self realization. It is remembering who you are. You are not the one who is losing itself in the relationship. You are not the self who is performing day in, day out. That is only your identity. That is a mental construct which you call I. It is made up by your experiences, made up by other people, made up by your conditioning. The other part in you is unaffected. So, path is all about remembering there is another bird, there is another part of me which is unaffected by anything and everything. Now, think of it. You are not the drop in the ocean, you are the ocean. The one who loses itself, you think yourself is only that drop. But when you remember the other bird, when you remember that part of you, which is Satchit Anand, which is the reflection of the divine, which is the reflection of Brahman, that Atman is always whole. It is the ocean. But when you limit yourself in an identity, you are only thinking yourself as a drop. When you realize who you are, you become the ocean. You become one with the divine. That is what the path takes you to yourself. That's why it is self realization. What you call losing yourself was only a drop. A drop may lose itself. But when you remember that, oh, I am the ocean. I am not only this role I am performing, and I will perform my duties. I'll be the best brother, I'll be the best sister, I'll be the best lover, or a best employee, best parent. I will perform my role. What his role demands from me, I will fulfill my duties, my responsibility, but I am not only limited to that role. I am much more than that. All these roles are nothing but drops, but you are the ocean. That's what we need to remember. And when you remember it, and not only through knowledge, it needs to be realized, it needs to be embodied. And how can you do that? In the presence of Guru. Guru can ignite that within you. A teacher can do that. A coach can do that. When you realize that, oh, this is who I am. I am this existence itself. I cannot be destroyed. And everything will change around me. The people, the places, my emotions, my thoughts, my even my body will change. But that consciousness will remain the same, unaffected. So don't limit yourself to a drop. Realize that you are the ocean. When this truth which I am sharing with you, when it becomes your truth, you will be liberated. Let's move on to our next segment. Now, I would like to challenge this idea that love is not possible without the disappearance. And someone wrote it to me as well. To be in love is itself to lose myself in love. Because people have not known any other definition of love. Because it has always been about emptiness that is being fulfilled by somebody else. And with that, I also remember a story. There was a time a man was looking for something. On the street, below the lamp, he was looking for something. When somebody asked him, "Hey, what are you looking for?" Then he said, "I'm looking for a key." It's like, "Very well. Then where did you lose it?" "I lost it inside my house." "Then why are you looking here?" "Because there is light here, and inside my house there is darkness." So that's exactly what we do. We think that we will find ourselves in some other place, but we have lost ourselves within us in some other place. It started way before than any relationship ever started. And this idea or this concept of dissolving yourself, devoting yourself so that the other person can complete you is absolutely absurd, and it is nothing but attachment. Love cannot erase you. If you think of it, whenever you say that I am so devoted that I am erasing myself for some other person, that cannot happen. Fear erases you. If love would have dissolved you, then at least you would be fulfilled. You would be content. But here, what is happening? Fear came as love. Fear or insecurity, it was wearing the clothes of love, and then you thought that, okay, this is what love is all about. Because no person who is complete will be able to lose itself in a relationship. That is not possible. But because of your fear, because of your insecurities, because of what if they are not with me? Who will I be? I'll again be empty. I cannot let this go. So you pour yourself more and more in that relationship. And if you think that real love is about other person completing me, then that is not true. And if you believe in concepts like twin flame, it is nothing but a myth. Please don't fall for it. No other person will be able to complete you. And this concept has been installed in us that once you have the partner, you are complete. And without them, you are incomplete. Real love is about two halves fulfilling each other. That is not true. Real love is about two undivided presence, two complete presence coming together and creating something beautiful. If you think that two halves will be coming together, then they are always leaning to each other. They are always codependent on each other. And there will always be a transaction. There will always be some give and take. And yes, in real relationships, there are exchanges. There are mutual exchanges. There are duties which you have to fulfill. There are responsibilities which you have to fulfill. But if you are dissolving yourself or losing your own identity in it, then that is not real love. Two whole people, two unchanging presence can come together and form love. It is presence, not merging. And in your case, it is only you merging and the other person stays intact. Only you losing yourself and the other person stays whole. Then that is not love. That cannot be love. That is a wrong definition of love which is imprinted on this identity. If you continue to disappear to keep peace, to make them stay so that you are not alone, think of it. How can it be love? Ask yourself. When the love is there, the fear cannot be there. When the presence is there, merging will not be there. And that's what love is, unchanging presence. And these days, what majority of the people call love, it is nothing but mutual dependence. Real love does not require you to sacrifice yourself. And that is possible. But when you enter a relationship with lack within you, when emptiness within you, then of course it will impact your relationship. There will always be some dependence. So it is not your partner's responsibility to complete you, it is your own. Nobody else is going to stop you from disappearing except you. So it is time that we change this definition. Real love is not about disappearance. It is not about self sacrifice. It is not about devotion. If you want to devote, you devote yourself to the divine. That is worth dissolving yourself for, and that is the end goal for everybody. When you rest as that unchanging presence, as your own Atman, then you are connected with the divine. Because one day this self will fade away, this body will fade away. What will remain is the pure consciousness. Because one day this construct of self will go away, this body will also go away, and what will remain is the pure consciousness. And what is liberation? Liberation is you merging with the divine. But the divine is infinite, and you are trying to merge in a finite person. That is not possible. That is only codependence. That will only create more suffering in your life. That will only create an identity which becomes your own prison. And in order to rest as an unchanging presence, in order to rest as the witness, we need to be okay in meeting ourselves. A lot of times in codependence or in this kind of dynamics where you are losing yourself, what is happening? It is two people afraid of sitting with their own self, afraid of meeting their own self. And this emptiness which you are afraid of, the answer lies in that emptiness. The path to your true being is in that silence. And that silence cannot be achieved if your world is revolving around some other person. If your mind is obsessed with thoughts about them. So take out some time, rest as a witness. If you need help, join the community, the Wisdom Circle, where we use this witness consciousness to break free from our loops. I'll put the link in the description once again. Then, if I do not lose myself, how do I love? Is it even possible to love? It is possible. But what is the return? You do not have to do dramatic changes. First, start stepping one step inward. Coming back to yourself is never about you leaving them or building walls around you. Coming back to yourself is a simple act of remembrance over and over and over again. Remembering who was here the whole time. While you were losing yourself, who was there? Who was there before you entered this relationship? Who was there before all your previous relationships? Who was there when you were a kid? That unchanging presence has always been constant, as it is here right now, listening to me. That presence is your Atman, is your witness, the watcher, the observer, the bird. All you need to do is remember that there is another bird who is not affected by the taste of the fruit. Whether the fruit is sweet or bitter, the other bird is not affected by it. It is simply witnessing. And that witness presence will be able to take you out of it, will be able to complete you once again. Because it is always complete. Nobody can destroy it. Nobody can cut it. Nobody can impact it in any way. It is always whole. It is always complete. Like I said, it is the existence, consciousness, bliss, Sat Chit Ananda. And when you love from there, it is the pure love. And it won't require any sacrifice. It won't require any boundaries. It is simply unconditional. It is simply pouring without losing yourself, without emptying yourself, because that presence cannot get emptied. And that self cannot be fixed. Your identity, you try to break out of it. It has limitations, it has conditioning, it has beliefs. It is a mental construct. And there are some things which it simply cannot do. But when you try to heal itself, fix itself, try to be aware of itself, that will happen, but it cannot go away. In order to break something, you need to separate yourself from it. And that's the process what I do in my one-on-one coaching. It's called the karmic cleanse. I only take applications selectively, only work with few people who are ready to walk this path. But that path needs courage. Courage to face yourself, courage to see your own identity and to be ready to break free from it. Separation from the identity is the first step. Once you are able to step back, you are able to break free from it. And for now, you do not have to do anything. Just remember. Remember the other bird. It is a path of self realization, a path of remembrance. How do I realize myself? Three things: Shravana, manana, nididhyasana. I listen like you are listening to me right now. You listen to the things which can free you. Then manana. I reflect within me. And nididhyasana. That means I am implementing it, embodying it. Without embodiment, it is not your truth. It is a truth, but not yours. For you, it is a lie because it has not been implemented. You have not experienced it yet. So, not more understanding. You already have enough awareness. You have understood enough about your attachment styles, your behavioral patterns. You have consumed enough content for it. Now is the path for embodiment, real time practice and application. If you think you are ready for it, the door is open. So, in the end, all I want to say is that you were never lost. That true being in you was never lost. What was lost was your identity. And you were trying to find yourself in them in the wrong place. You did not lose yourself in them. You lost yourself somewhere early. Here you are only realizing it. Here it only got intensified. The patterns you had since the childhood, now they are magnified. They have been repeated every day. That's why you lost yourself every day, slowly every day. And the one you are searching for is watching from your eyes the whole time. That presence has never left you. That wholeness has never left you, not even for a second. Not even when you sleep. When you wake up, you feel that I had a good sleep or I couldn't sleep properly. Who knows? How did you know? That presence was still present. And all you need to do is come home to that presence. And that is home. Until next time, if you have any questions, drop it in the comment section. I would be happy to answer them. Do share this episode with somebody who is losing themselves in love, in relationship. I'll see you soon. Until next time, stay aware, stay free, and stay true to yourself. My name is Siddharth Das, your guide in this journey to self realization.